the air brake pre-trip. To make sure that you're going to be able to get everything done and not have any issues. So turn off any lights. If you released any air, make sure that you put that all back on again. Okay? Adjust the steering wheel so that you can see your gauges. We're using this pressure gauge and we're using this pressure gauge. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that everything is going to function the way that it is supposed to. I'm getting my little stopwatch thingy here ready. As soon as I remember where I put it. I think it starts with the S. There it goes. There's my stopwatch. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we need to test to make sure that the trailer protection system is functioning and working the way that it's supposed to. So we're going to push in the red button, and when we do, we're going to hear air leaking out from the back end, which is exactly what we're hearing right now. So we need to have the key in the on position so that the gauges work so that we can read them properly. As the air in the tanks deplete, these air gauges are dropping down. As they drop down, we're looking for them to hit 60. At 60 psi, we're going to get little red lights light up inside here, and we're going to get a warning on the dash. There it is, telling me that I've got low air pressure, because the first one got to 60. The second one is coming down. It'll get there. All we're waiting for now is to make sure that this red button pops out, which it did just now. It's supposed to pop out between 60 and 40 psi. We look here, we're at 60. This one's a little bit higher. Higher is better. I'd rather have it pop out sooner. That tells me that it shut off the air supply going back to the trailer to ensure that we don't lose all of our air. Now we're just simply going to test our service brake. When we pull this handle down, it supplies air to the blue line that connects to the trailer, and it would apply the brakes on the trailer. Well, because the trailer is disconnected, we don't want to have air leaking out, so we listen. And we do not hear any air leaking out. Hold it for 5 seconds and then release it. Now we're going to push the yellow button in. What we want to do now is we want to ensure that the truck itself is protected. So we're going to put our finger just on the edge of the button. We're going to pump the brake now, and we want to make sure that this button pops out between 60 or between 45 and 20 psi. So we just simply start pumping on it. Don't look at the gauges, look at the button, because the button is what's going to tell you. So the instant that button pops out, we're going to stop pumping the brake, and then we're going to check to see where we're at. And there it is. All right, so we look and we check, and we're sitting at 25 psi. So somewhere between 45 and 20, and it's good. Okay? Now you might have a truck that is a little older, so it might be 1 or 2 psi difference. That's not a problem. Okay, when you get 5 or 10, then it's a problem. So 1 or 2 is minor. So now both buttons are out. We don't have any air anymore, so we need to do something to get our air back up so we can test the rest of the system. So in order to do that, I'm going to get out of the truck, and I'm going to connect the air lines back up again so that we can proceed with the next phase of our pre-trip inspection for our air brake. Again, make sure that you always get out of the vehicle the correct way. Now we're just going to hook our air lines back up again. Like I said, doesn't matter. So when you're hooking them up, you want to make sure that the seals on here are both in good shape, okay? Because if they're damaged, you could have an air leak in there. Check the other one, okay? So you can see how this one is bent in. That could create an air leak with our hose. So because they're only rubber, we can kind of pry at it, and I've managed to pull it out, and I make it all look good again because I'm just so good at doing that. Right? The other side is in good shape. We are going to connect it back up again, and now we're ready to get back inside the truck, and we can complete the air brake process. So we climb back in again. Get our timer ready. So now we're going to start the truck. We're going to watch the two gauges. One of the gauges is going to start moving first. We want to have our RPM set at about 1200. As soon as the first gauge gets to 50 psi, I'm going to start my timer. Big 50 psi, I start the timer. Now I want to make sure that my tanks are getting filled properly, so I'm testing the compressor. The compressor has to be able to fill between 50 and 90 in under 3 minutes. So we're just watching the clock, watching the gauges. They're just coming up on 60 psi. As soon as they get to the right point on there, the alarm will go off, telling me that I have adequate air pressure. And it's just about there. All right, at 60 psi, warning goes off. I'm good. So I'm just continuing to watch it. It's coming up on 80. Still a little ways to go. As soon as it gets to that 90, which we're right about in the middle of that space, I'm going to stop my timer. So we're coming up on it right about now. So I've got 1 minute, 20 seconds. Okay, 1 minute and 20 seconds is less than 3 minutes. So I'm happy with that. That tells me that my compressor is doing its job and it can fill the tanks up. Now I have to wait. I'm going to listen for the purge. Okay, that's going to tell me when I reach my cutout stage. My cutout should occur between 120 psi and 135 psi. We have these numbers in place so that we do the tests properly to make sure that everything is working according to what the settings and what the provincial government wants. Coming up on 120, the gauges are still moving. As soon as I hit my cutout, the gauges are going to stop moving because it's reached its maximum. There it is. So we're looking at 120 psi. The gauges aren't moving anymore. I'm okay with it. So that was my cut out. Now I'm going to do my cut in. Notice that my truck is still running at 1200 RPM. I need to maintain that. In order to get my air pressure down, my cut in should occur 20 to 25 psi below whatever my cutout is. This one cut out of 125. That means that the maximum of this one should go is 100 psi. I'm going to push both buttons in. It's going to use some of that air as it fills up the airbags. Should get me down close to 100. Okay, I'm just coming up to 100 now. So what I want to see now is I watch the gauges, and I should see the gauges starting to climb back up again, not go down. If they do that, then I know that my cut-in is working properly. Air pressure is being restored, replenished. I can see the gauges are starting to move. This truck is just took a little bit of time, and I have confirmation what in is in fact. I want to get about 110 psi in my tanks so that I can do the next test. Shut the truck off now. I'm going to turn the truck back on so that the gauges work properly. Okay. Now I'm going to do the air brake leak test. So I want to make sure I don't have any leaks in my system at all. So I'm going to put my foot all the way down hard on the floor. I'm going to wait until the gauges on the truck stop moving. And then I'm going to start my timer now. So don't start the timer when you put your foot on the pedal. Start the timer when you've noticed that the gauges are moving. So my gauges are sitting at 100. All right. With my truck and trailer combination, I cannot lose more than 6 psi in total. 4 for my truck and 2 for my trailer. So I don't want this to come down to like 94 psi. So I'm holding the pedal down. Now if you've got a bad leg or you've got a weak leg, you can use 2 feet. Put 2 feet on the pedal and hold the pedal down. But you have to have maximum pressure to ensure that that's there. So I'm just at 2 minutes and 11 seconds. So I'm over. I've done everything I need to do inside. I'm now checking my air pressure. My air pressure is still at 100, so I can release that, and we're in good shape. And then I can honk the horn as a celebration to say, hey, I'm done, and my air brake pre-trip is almost there. I've only got 2 things left to do. Okay? Now I want to do a brake adjustment. So a brake adjustment is just simply put my foot on the pedal, press it down hard. 1001, 1002, take my foot off. Do it again. Press down hard on the pedal. 1001, 1002, take my foot off the pedal. My brakes are now adjusted. Right? The last thing I have to do is called a rolling brake test or a brake response test. And in order to do that, I'm going to pull the brakes on, because I'm never going to get out of the truck if the brakes are in the release position. That's an automatic fail. Okay, so both of those are on. I'm going to get out now. I'm going to go and remove the wheel chocks, and then we're going to do a response test by just simply driving forward. Now I'm going to get out of the truck. So it's in there a little tight. So I'm going to back up just a hair to take the pressure off the wheel shock, which can happen if the truck moves. Wheel shock out. Now I don't have to beat up the stick. Set. Now we're ready to do a rolling brake test or a response test. And that's just simply get in the truck, drive it ahead, step the brake. Then I'm going to drive ahead again. I'm going to use just the handbrake to make sure that the trailer brakes are working. And if they work, we're all good. Okay? The process, ensure that everything is done. Go through the video, concentrate on it, focus on everything that you need to do in order to make sure that you're doing the job that you should be doing and that you're paying attention, because why we do this is it's about safety. It's not about memorizing something to say, oh, well, I need to know all of these different parts. No, you don't. What you need to do is safety. It's about you. Do you want to come home at the end of the day when you're finished? If your answer is yes, then focus on the safety. That's it from Jonas Driving School for today. We've done all of our inspection. Some parts of it may be different. As you go from vehicle to vehicle, you will find differences as you look under the hood. Certain things will be in different places. Every truck has exactly the same items. All right? All you need to do is be able to identify them. And if you can do the under the hood portion in 5 minutes, you should be able to do the full inspection of the truck portion in about 12 minutes. And then you add to that doing the trailer, then jumping inside. And it all works out that you should be able to just blast through this and get it done and be well under the 45-minute mark so that you've got lots of time available to you just in case you're running a little bit slow. Have a great day. Be safe out there. And remember, if you need to do anything with Jonas Driving School, give us a call and we'll hook you up so that you can become an excellent driver.